I'm gonna sit up. I always forget I slouch in my chair. It doesn't look good on the video. All right. Welcome back to another edition of Talk with Butch Tuesday. Today, we have got the incomparable, I've got to come up with some better adjectives for people. Everybody I've interviewed is just amazing. Nick Stratton from Bullseye Property Management. Hi, Nick.
Hey, Butch.
How are you?
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah.
So let's get started. Tell people about your business. What do you do? What's your business all about? And how long have you been doing it?
I do residential property management, which means I handle rentals, whether they're single family homes, multifamily, townhomes. Basically, I'm the representative of the landlord in dealing with the tenants and any maintenance issues. That would be the simplest answer.
I always say property management is the hardest job in real estate. And there is a special place in heaven for property managers. Because you're the one that gets all the phone calls when the toilet doesn't flush or overflows and power goes out. Like you're the guy that gets those calls in the middle of the night, right?
Yeah.
How many properties are you managing right now? You call them doors. Property management, how many doors, right?
Yeah, we talk in doors. Just because multifamily, there might be one building and I'll have 4 doors. So total doors is close to between 190 and 200 doors.
190 to 200 doors. How many late night phone calls do you get with overflowing toilets or, emergencies?
This year I've had, as far as emergency phone calls, I've probably had 4.
That's not too bad. That's not too bad. All right. And I know my favorite Nick Stratton story is after a microburst a couple of years ago, you were managing a property for a mutual friend of ours. And he said he went to check on the property and you were already there taking care of the issues.
Yeah.
So that's the Nick Stratton is a hero story that I love. So you've been doing property management, what, 13, 14 years now?
Yep.
So the question I always ask people, as a business coach, I always believe that people who are successful usually are successful because they've got a vision to make a difference for people. That part of why they do what they do is the difference they want to make. So why do you do what you do? Why do you have this, what I consider a miserable job in real estate? You've been doing it for 13 years and you're really good at it. What's your why? Why do you do what you do?
So for me with property management, in real estate, I mean, there's a lot of different avenues that one could go. They can go to sales, they could even go to commercial. I like predictability, and with property management, you're collecting rent every month, you kind of know and kind of see, but I also really enjoy just the core. Like I feel like one of my skill set is, and it plays to what I enjoy, is just being able to coordinate things, to take, a landlord who has, this person over here has a specific set of goals. They want to rent their property and get the most amount of money. And then you have a tenant over here that they want to rent a great place and they want to be taken care of and it to be presentable, and basically to figure out a way to have a meeting of the minds between those two and to coordinate it and make it so that it's an enjoyable experience for both the landlord and the tenant. And I feel like based on my experience, my organizational skills, it gives me the tools and the ability to do that. And I gain a lot of satisfaction when the owner is happy and they're like, hey, I don't have to worry about it. It's peace of mind. And I'll give you some money. You just take care of it for me. And the tenants, they get a place and they know that, not only am I there to represent the landlord, but I also approach it from a point that I treat them, as a human being. And they don't feel like they're just, just a number or someone that's just paying rent. They feel like they voice a concern that can be heard. And so they come away with a positive experience.
I got it. So what I hear you saying is really your why is being of service to people in an industry that's usually difficult. You bring consensus, you bring everybody has a voice, and you bring people together that everybody's happy. You bring happiness is the why.
Yeah.
In a difficult way. That's pretty awesome. How about, I'm sure you've been doing this a long time, you've got a lot of success stories. Anything come to mind where where your unique skills to bring people together made a difference for somebody?
Yeah, I would say, actually, it's funny, I was thinking of something else, but you just reminded me of a different story. There was I had a tenant currently living in a property. This was in Tempe. And I got a text at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. There was a huge storm And this particular owner, who we know, mutual friend of ours, had 3 to 4 pine trees that were probably 40 to 50 feet tall. And 3 of them had fallen over. And so I went out there and was on site. The owner had met me out there as well. The tenants were really thankful with how quickly I'd responded, and we got on it. And the owner was thankful as well. We were able to get everything coordinated. The tenants, even though it was inconvenience to them because their basement had been flooded, their living area had been substantially affected by the storm, but they felt like they were taken care of, that we were doing everything we can. Obviously, a natural, God disaster.
Right.
But I don't have control over that. All we have control over is what I can do to help with that. And so they felt like they were taken care of. The owner felt like I was working in his best interest to make sure that I was documenting and handling it in the way. And so both parties came away from really a really difficult experience, came away with a positive outcome.
And that house got a pretty good remodel not long after that, right?
Well, yeah. Fortunately, the owner's an insurance agent, so he was able to make sure that it got covered insurance-wise.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you've been successful in your business. I'm sure you've learned a lot of things. If you could go back in time and give your young self some advice, when would you go back to, and what would you tell yourself? And I ask this question as if you were going to give somebody one piece of business advice that you've learned. What is it you tell them?
What I would say to myself, when I started out, when someone would be unhappy or irritated or just unpleasant to speak with or deal with, you deal with
unpleasant people? I don't believe it. Unpleasant people in property management? No way.
Yeah. In that, I would get really nervous, even if I was in a position where I was doing everything that I needed to. I sometimes would internalize that and feel afraid of it. And so if I could go back to myself, and I think I have I feel like I have a good internal sense of trying to do the right thing, not the easiest thing, but to do the right thing. I would give myself the advice to trust myself in those situations, that I don't have to, panic or worry so much. Just trust myself, do the best I can, and to take my time. Some problems, looking back, I tried to solve them, and sometimes going through quickly and trying to solve it too quickly, it would have gone more smoothly if I had just taken my time and just let things materialize. So I would say be patient and trust myself. I think
that's great advice, especially for someone like you that really does operate from being of service and has the skill and the experience to trust that you can get it handled. Like whatever comes up, you'll deal with it. I think that's really great advice for people that anybody can take on. Great, thank you. All right, last question. You've managed a bunch of properties. In all the years you've been doing this, any celebrity clients, brushes with fame, famous people that you've helped rent or lease their properties for?
Yeah, I did lease a property to a professional football player for the Arizona Cardinals.
See, I would love to do business with the Arizona Cardinals. Like I just saw Larry Fitzgerald and I think it's Andre just bought a house in Paradise Valley. Yeah, Andre Hopkins, and it's like they just bought houses in Paradise Valley. I'm like, I would love to help them find houses in Paradise Valley.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, it was exciting. The owners were really excited to lease to him, and I was too. He's even mentioned to me. He's like, hey, if you ever want to go to a game, I'll get you tickets. I never took him up on it because I always like that line. I try to but I mean, within 4 months he got traded. So.
And you have to re-rent. And you have to re-rent the property then.
Then I have to I mean, he took care of it. I mean, he paid his break lease fees, very responsible. So it wasn't a poor or bad experience. It was just it's just one of the things. It's the blessing that comes with it. And
back to life for athletes. Yeah, I never know where you're going to be. Well, I thank you so much for taking time and talking to me today. Anything else you want to let people know? People who are watching this, anything about you, your business? How do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so the easiest way to get in touch with me is to either call or text me on my cell phone number. Should I say my cell phone? Or
you can if you want, or I'll put it on the screen. It'll be
okay.
Right point. It'll be on the screen underneath you. Yeah.
Yeah. Butch will put my cell phone, phone or text, or send me an email. And
You're probably out on the road way more often than you are sitting at a desk, right?
yeah, I'm out and about, but I have my phone close to me. And the only other thing I would say is, if you have a property and you're considering renting it out at all, I would love to talk to you. One of the things that I provide that I think is a really valuable service is I give people the pros and the cons, or just kind of a detailed, thorough analysis of what it would look like if they were to rent out their home, what it's like to deal with tenants, what costs they might have, and if that's going to be in kind of get to know what your goals are. Because some people, when they want to rent out their house and we go over those things, sometimes it really is a great fit and makes sense, and sometimes after going through those things it doesn't make sense. And so it's just good to
It's great. And I love to refer you because, being a landlord's difficult. And for the individual person who rents out their property, rents out a house to somebody, if that person doesn't pay their bill, it's hard for people to, you build relationships to kick them out, to evict them, and do the things you have to do as a property owner. So it's easier to pass the buck to you, who does it with compassion and kindness and still takes care of your landlords and your tenants and make sure everybody does what they're supposed to do and moving forward. So if you're going to rent out your personal property and you don't want to be a landlord, Nick Stratton, Bullseye Property Management.
Awesome. Thank you, Butch.
Great. Thanks, Nick. Thanks for talking with me today. I am Butch Lieber. I'm a business coach with Draw Door Business Coaching. If you want to come talk with me on Talk with Butch Tuesday, give me a call. And if you need help to take your business to the next level, I'd love to talk to you. Give me a call. My number is also on the screen below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week on Talk with Butch Tuesday. Thank you, Nick. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Butch. Appreciate it.